Now we're going to have a look at ginger. Ginger can be used internally and ginger can be used externally. Internally, it's an anti-inflammatory, but it's probably mostly known for its anti-nausea effect. If you buy car sickness or seasickness tablets, it's compressed ginger. Now the easiest way I think to have this is to grate it. So you grate it on that little grater and you'll grate about a teaspoon and you put it in a little teapot and pour boiling water on it and let it sit probably 10 minutes. Now that might be too strong for you, but I love it. I love it like that. If it's too strong, you just water it down a little bit. If someone's very cold, maybe they've been caught out in the cold or something and it's very hard to warm them up, give them a cup of hot ginger tea and it will warm them up very nicely. So it can be used for nausea, it can be used to warm a person if they're chilled or cold. And you saw too, it is one of the recipes in the flu bomb. I was at a function, it was a health seminar, and in the break everyone went and had their herb teas and there was a girl with a tiny little grater grating ginger. And I said, ginger. She said, I'm an entertainer, I'm a singer. She said, I was in Greece last year and I lost my voice. And a little Greek lady made me a hot ginger tea. She said, I sung that night. So she said, I travel with my little grater everywhere I go. So very nice on a sore throat or hoarse throat. Now we're going to look at what you can do with ginger externally. So I always take a plate and I always take the plastic square. Again, you can use a wool square next to that, but you still need that plastic backing so that it doesn't wet all your clothes and also so it insulates. And then we put a cloth over it and it's usually around this size. And then I grate straight onto it. So why would I use a ginger poultice? I would use a ginger poultice for an inflamed joint. So the easiest way to remember this is ginger is for joints. So that would be gout, it would be arthritis, also a sore back, an inflamed back. Now when someone's got an inflamed back, they usually put a hot water bottle on it, is that right? But if the back is hurting because of inflammation, the hot water bottle will relax. And you know, the reason why the hot water bottle relaxes is because when we're in pain, the muscles around that area tighten and cramp. Basically, they go out in sympathy with the pain. And you put a hot water bottle on that and it relaxes those cramping muscles. So you do get some relief, but it does not help the inflammation. It can even make it worse. But ginger, if you apply a ginger poultice anywhere where there's inflammation, the ginger pulls the inflammation out of the joint to the skin and the skin gets really hot. So if you apply this to the lower back, the heat relaxes the muscles and yet the ginger is reducing the inflammation. So you do about that much. And then how you make the poultice is you put the left side over and the right side over, and the bottom comes up and the top goes down. So you can see I've made like a little package there. And then I turn that over and the part that's touching the skin is where you've just got one layer. And the beauty of this little package also is that you've got a few layers behind so that if it is quite wet, it will help to soak up any drips. And then you will apply that to the area. Now let's say that I have an inflamed joint, then you would apply it to the area there. But you can see even with the plastic on that, not much is touching the skin. It's only the very edges. And then you bandage that on. Now if someone has an inflamed joint, say a wrist or an ankle or a knee or toes, we apply the ginger poultice, or even in a sore back, we apply the ginger poultice maybe about 6 o'clock in the evening, and within half an hour, if there's inflammation in there, the skin gets very hot. And then the person has the choice when they're going to bed, is that heat all right? Because if it's too hot, they can just take it off. But if it feels good to them, they can go to sleep. If you put it on just before bed and the skin gets really hot, it could wake up and cause discomfort. But when people have gout or arthritis, the heat is usually very, very nice. And again, for a sore lower back, it's very nice because, again, it pulls the inflammation out of the joint, and the heat relaxes those muscles that tend to cramp whenever there's pain. So I'll tell you the story of a lady who saw my lecture on YouTube. She emailed me the story, and she put the ginger poultice on her sore knee. She was so excited it reduced the pain by 50%. The skin did get hot. You see, all the inflammation's being drawn out. So the next morning she made another one. And then she made another one for overnight. And when she woke up in the morning, the skin was all swollen and blistered. She said, "What have I done?" I said, "You've overdone it." You've just overdone it. You've just pulled too much inflammation out and it's irritated the skin. So if you do have an inflamed joint anywhere, just do it maybe for 4 hours in the afternoon or even overnight, but just don't do it non-stop because, again, you can inflame the skin. Not a problem, because you just have to leave the skin, maybe put a castor oil compress on that knee until it settles right down. One lady said, "My skin's burning." And I said, "Actually, it won't burn, but what's the joint like?" And she said, "Oh, actually, it's good." We had one lady and she said, "I've got this swollen finger. The joint was swollen twice the size." She said, "This has been paining me for 2 years." So he made a tiny little ginger poultice, put it over, put a little bit of plastic over it to insulate, and then taped it on. And this is called a paper tape. This is a really soft tape on the skin. In the morning, she was so excited, the joint had gone right down and she could move her finger. That was just one night. Sometimes it takes more than one night. But that ginger is excellent for joints. So remember, gout, arthritis. One man said his big toe, he put it on his big toe and all the pain went out. And then the next toe was painful, so he put it on there. Then the next night, it was okay and had gone to the next one. He said it was jumping toes. I said, "Did it go to the next foot?" He said, "No." So again, you're just listening to the body. Now, this poultice, once it's used, because it's vegetable matter, has to be discarded, but you could make it in the afternoon and fold it over like that and use it that night.